Last weekend saw the return of Kevin De Bruyne to the Premier League. What an impact, Joe, that he made. He came off the bench to get a goal and an assist to give Man City all 3 points. Cracking game that was, by the way, at St James's Park. And it got a lot of people talking online about where Kevin De Bruyne ranks. We know he's a top player, but where he ranks in terms of the greatest ever midfielders.
He's up there, isn't he? He's up there. So we've asked our guests to pick the 10 greatest Premier League midfielders of all time. This is not going to be easy. There's actually 11 magnets on the table in front of you guys. You're going to have to come to an agreement on the order, though, because I've seen both of your 10 lists, and there is quite a lot of disagreement on the order.
And the reason why there's 11, as you say, is because there's one name different and the order's slightly different.
Dan's got the Leaf has it. So let's start at number 10. Who do you think is the 10th greatest midfielder? You've got your list in front of them, so you don't forget your 10 list.
I mean, I don't need to look at my list for this one because my number 10 is an incredible number 10, and that is my boy Mesut Ozil.
Yeah.
For me, second highest assists in a single Premier League season, and that was whilst every other assister here was supplying some of the greatest strikers in Premier League history. This guy did it in a season.
No, that's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. No, that's already a lie because De Bruyne has the joint most assists in one season, and he was supplying Gabriel Jesus. So let's not.
He was supplying Welbeck and Giroud, who are top players, but you wouldn't say that they were the standout striker of a Premier League season. 19 assists in a single season. And aside from stats, there are things that this guy does on a pitch that are simply magic, and I love him. One of my favourite players of all time, Mesut Ozil.
Agree or disagree, Neve?
I mean, I don't disagree that he's incredible, and as well, you know, this was through that Wenger in, Wenger out time.
Yeah.
It was a really messy period for Arsenal, and he was a shining light. But no, he's not in my top 10.
Who would you go?
My 10 is
N'Golo.
Oh,
wow, low.
I feel that's low for Kante.
Kante at 10 is crazy.
N'Golo is in my list, which we'll find out, but 10th is harsh for what he's achieved.
You know, it's still the 10 best midfielders.
Because I'd say
Ozil in the Premier League. We're talking the 10 best out of so many.
Ability, he probably isn't 10, but consistency and actual
So I've got
N'Golo.
Let me just check here. I've got N'Golo 9th. So
he's making a big fuss.
No, but what the reason why I think Ozil should be in is because of the team he played in, and it's kind of like a Stevie G thing where if Ozil was playing for the likes of City, United, or any of the great Premier League teams, he would have gone on to achieve what they achieved. But to be in a lesser team and get 19 assists in a single season, and also just on the eye test to be one of the most amazingly gifted footballers I've seen.
Players, aren't they?
Are you happy to have him 11th, maybe? And then we can use
seriously, I can concede so many things, but Mesut Ozil has to be in this list.
He's got very good ability, but
who is not going to be in the 10 then? Because
David Silva, because he was going to be my 11th.
David Silva's not in your top 10.
He was going to be in my 11th.
Wow, I know it's your birthday.
No, but can I just say? He was going to be.
Okay. He did just say what I thought he just said, yeah? He did just say what I think he just said. I did not mishear that, did I? He did just. There's apparently 10 better midfielders in Premier League history than David Silva. Well, for one, Ozil's not better than David Silva, and I'll die on that hill. So he's at least top 10. If Ozil's in your top 10, then David Silva's at least 9. At least. Very underrated player, David Silva. Very underrated player. Very, very underrated player.
Be my 11.
Because David Silva didn't always play in a super team, did he? He didn't always play in a super team. Played in a lot of super teams, but he didn't always play in a super team. So he can't use the same argument that he used for everybody else. But
guys, please
we'll continue, and we'll see where I put David Silva in this list. Because he's definitely in my top 10.
In parts.
Let me land. I'm under pressure right now.
I'm not letting you land, bro. Runway's closed. Runway is closed.
There is no doubt that there's a reason he's called Merlin. Unbelievable player. And also, at one point when people thought he was finished, he came back, shaved his head, and just became even better. But
bold David Silva was crazy. Bold David Silva was crazy because he had no right to be that good. Real Sociedad David Silva was crazy. Because he again had not. David Silva's is crazy.
For me, he was in a City team that was dominating the Premier League.
But are you trying to say that David Silva couldn't do what Ozil did at Arsenal?
I think
all-time Premier League.
I think Ozil's skill set and what he can do is totally unique. I think Ozil can do what Silva did. I don't think Silva could do what Ozil did.
David Silva recorded 27 more assists than any other player during his 10 seasons in the Premier League. He won four Premier Leagues. Titles. 60 goals, 93 assists and 309 appearances. I don't think I can put my name to a top 10 without David Silva. I know it's not our choice, but we have to have David Silva.
Mesut Ozil.
Is there anybody else?
No, everyone else here I think is like banked on in the top 10.
Okay, if it's 3-1.
The only other thing, this would kill me as an Arsenal fan. The only other one that I would be logically saying is Cesc Fabregas, because everyone else it would be ridiculous to not have them in.
I think 3-1 here.
Guys,
Fabregas is better than Ozil.
Well high.
A lot higher.
Fabregas is better than
if you were going to have Kante at 10, you were going to have Kante at 9. We start with Kante at 10 and Mesut just missed out for now.
Kante at 10 is still crazy.
I mean,
PFA Player of the Year, FWA Footballer of the Year for 16-17, of course, won Premier League title back-to-back, didn't he, I think, Leicester?
Yeah, Leicester and Chelsea.
But then again, I'm going off just what I saw.
Yes, at 9 I've got
obviously.
Cesc.
Okay. You got 8, I guess.
So so Cesc Fabregas was at 8. Yeah. So I'm more than happy with that. Captain of Arsenal at 21, and still second in all-time Premier League assists.
Cesc was serious.
Despite being out of the league, like in between his stints at Chelsea and Arsenal.
Almost for his prime, really.
Yeah.
111 Premier League assists, which is second in the all-time.
It's outrageous.
Incredible.
And like when Chelsea signed Diego Costa, you thought, oh, they finally sorted out a killer in front of goal. When they signed Fabregas, they guaranteed themselves a league title.
So you're happy to put Chelsea legend Fabregas at 9, yeah?
Look at the kit he's wearing.
Chelsea legend is crazy. That's crazy.
Okay, good start.
So you got that top player, I do agree.
So, I mean, for me, in 7, so I'm happy to have him 8th if you are as well. I had Yaya Toure at number 8.
I've got 8th as well.
Yeah.
Agreement so far.
2013, 2014 season,
crazy
I believe
player,
it was
Yaya Toure.
35 games,
Crazy
33 goal contributions. And he had a 90% pass accuracy for an entire season. I mean, that's up there with one of the best individual performances of a season.
Ability-wise, and the things that Yaya Toure could do, he's the best midfielder I've ever seen play. Like, from what he could do and what he was capable of, him and Pogba are 2 of the best midfielders I've ever seen. Ability-wise. But, obviously, Pogba... a lot of wasted potential. I'm not saying he didn't do good things in his career, but there's way too much wasted potential, way too much still left on the table for Pogba. But him and Yaya Toure is special breed of midfielder.
Season, so Yaya has to be in there for me.
62 goals he scored, 32 assists in 230 appearances. Great.
Yeah, he became that kind of midfielder at Man City as well, but people forget that when he was at Barcelona, he was a defensive midfielder, he even played centre-back in matches as well. He could be whatever midfielder he wanted to be.
Yeah, unreal player, unreal.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was such a match winner, Yaya, wasn't he? Like in single moments when they needed a big...
Nah, facts, he is a prime on his day baller, and that's what annoys me because he had the facilities to be the best midfielder in the world, and he just wasn't the best midfielder in the world. He should have definitely 100% should have been the best midfielder in the world, but... You know, his attitude probably wasn't the best.
Goal or a strike from distance.
Clutch player.
So, he scored 20-plus Premier League goals, he said, in a season. I think it's only Frank Lampard did that before that, but yeah.
Next on the list, where we go?
Amazing return. Neve, do you want to take number 7? Who did you have at 7?
Yeah, so I've got Patrick Vieira.
Oh, no! That feels low.
I can't really talk on Vieira. I didn't really watch Vieira in his prime, obviously. So I'm not going to talk on Vieira. I'll let that one.
Me?
How dare you, Neve? Damn.
Who did you have, Dan?
I had your boy Joe over there's not going to like this. I had Paul Scholes at number 6. So I would.
Where's 7. The reaction to that?
Well, so I had him at number 6.
Obviously, I think Yaya's better than Scholes, but his Scholes' trophy cabinet speaks for itself. His passing range speaks for itself as well. Everything else, pretty average, but his passing and his trophy cabinets, you know, it's
6, but I'm happy to have him at 7. But I do think 7's too low for Paul Scholes, I'll be honest.
Sorry, 11 Premier League titles, Paul Scholes, we're talking about here. Treble winning Paul Scholes.
No, but when you see the players I've got in front of Scholes, I don't think you'll.
I will.
There's no way he's better.
Absolutely will.
You will, because he's. Bro, yeah, him and Giggs have a crazy trophy cabinet, man. Ryan Giggs is like awful human being, but Ryan Giggs' CV is crazy.
Number 1.
I think
7 feels very low for both
7. I think 6 feels about. I think 6 feels about right.
So you didn't even have David Silva on your list. So should we be considering David Silva here? And you?
Yeah, I'm happy. Actually, no. Yeah, I'm absolutely.
But who would miss out from this list if David Silva went in?
Well, it'd only be Mesut Ozil out.
Yeah, sure.
So the rest can all go out.
So the rest can still go in, yeah? Yeah. Okay, fine. I'm happy for David Silva, for Merlin to go in.
So you'd have him above Fabregas and you'd have him above Yaya?
I feel like David Silva's Premier League legacy is greater than the other players here. Obviously, what he didn't.
Even though you weren't going to include him in your list at all.
Well, yeah, but it's because I wanted Ozil.
You're very critical of his list.
I genuinely think if you watch like an Ozil compilation, I know that's a very like specific thing to say, but there are some things he did on the ball that just they didn't get you a goal or an assist, but they were just breathtaking to watch.
Yeah.
And I think that deserves a mention. So
right.
I would be happy to have
David Silva happy with 7?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get David Silva up.
Okay, David Silva in 7.
Which means let's talk about why you've got Vieira so low then, Neve.
Yeah, I mean, it's still really high. There's nothing negative to say about Patrick Vieira, but it just depends what midfielder you like, you know, which type of midfielder. I absolutely love Patrick Vieira. I mean, the Patrick Vieira that I saw as a first account was the Serie A Patrick Vieira, not really the Premier League Patrick Vieira, but still he had that tenacity.
So then we could possibly take my view on this because I saw him in the Prem being invincible.
So where
disrupting Roy Keane. So I had Vieira as 4th.
Do you think Vieira over Roy Keane?
Yeah.
See, that's where
I had Roy Keane 5th.
Wow.
I had him. I had Roy Keane as the greatest captain in Premier League history. Yeah, he won 7 Premier League titles. I think it was 4 of them as captain. There's no doubt about that. But if you're taking, so if you're taking what Vieira won when he was disrupting United and also just on the ball, who is a more naturally gifted footballer. I think Roy Keane is a top footballer, a great legend, a great leader. But Vieira, I mean,
those battles were great, weren't they?
They were unreal.
3 Premier League titles, Vieira.
So if it's Keane and Vieira between 6 and 5, which way around do you want to go?
I think it would be disrespectful to have Vieira below Keane in terms of footballing ability. So I think.
But then you've got the whole package as a footballer. I mean, they're both very similar in the sense that we've seen at Crystal Palace.
Good to see David Silva on the board, though. That's what you like to see.
That Vieira as manager is a very calm, thoughtful man, and you look at he's kind of introverted and laid back and comedic, Roy Keane, but they were so aggressive. They did what they needed to do to win games on the pitch. They were both that kind of player. They left everything out there.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Like if you go on Twitter, if I was to boot up Twitter right now, I could probably see someone younger than me talk about Kaká. Bro, my brother's 16 and I heard him say that Kaká's better than De Bruyne. That guy's never seen Kaká play in his life. You know what I mean? One of the I can't stand that.
Absolutely.
Respect to the fans.
Absolutely.
In terms of ability, yeah, okay, perhaps you. But Roy Keane, he was so tireless. His work rate, he covered every single.
Yeah, but work rate for me is something that's kind of like overplayed in English football. We seem to think like work rate is like.
Gonna have to push you on our.
What's the be all and end all? I think Vieira is way better as a technical footballer than Roy Keane. It has to. Get Vieira in there, please.
You don't stay in that Manchester team, that iconic team. You don't stay for that long if you've not got the technical ability as well.
No, absolutely, I agree with that. That's why.
All I had to say on that argument is I know he's not a midfielder, but Kyle Walker. That counted as an argument.
Gary Neville was also there, but
by the way,
you
can put them down and move. Just
okay, go on.
Okay, Neve is conceding. Roy Keane, incidentally.
You want Neve at 5, right?
So I want Vieira at 5.
Okay, put Keane in 6 then. Roy Keane, interestingly, 7 Premier League titles, named the PFA Premier League Team of the Year 5 times. Vieira named the PFA Team of the Year 6 occasions.
Top 4.
So 2 top players. Let's go to top 4. Let's just reveal the magnets you've got left so that we know. So you've got Frank Lampard, Paul Scholes, Steven Gerrard and Kevin De Bruyne, which I think is fair, actually, because you see on socials when people are talking about that there's often the Scholes, Gerrard, Lampard
debate.
Trinity,
yeah.
Is there, and De Bruyne. You say the Trinity. Does that mean Frank Lampard is 4 for you?
If I'm ranking these 4, if I'm ranking these 4, Scholes 4th, Lamps third, Gerrard second, De Bruyne first. That's how I rank these four. So Scholes at 4, Lampard at 3. Excellent goal scorer Lampard, but I don't think he was as good all round as Gerrard. So Gerrard 2, and I genuinely think De Bruyne. I think De Bruyne is I think De Bruyne's top.
So
But obviously for me, Kante's above Keane. For me, I didn't really watch Keane playing it before anyone jumps down before any old heads, retro fanatics of the game, jump down my throat. You know, Kante, Yaya, both better than him. Cesc, Silva, all better than him from what I've seen. But, you know.
I actually had Lampard purely because of his goal-scoring stats. I gave him that extra buy. I had him third, Frank Lampard.
Yeah, Lampard
I thought
third,
177 Premier League goals.
Where did you have him?
Yeah, goals and assists. You know, brilliant. I had him 4th. I did the other 3.
And I'm not mad at that. Like for me, Scholes and Lampard for me were interchangeable. Like Scholes for me does the hardest thing to do in a midfield, which is control the tempo of a game, whereas everyone else had more to bring to the table in terms of goals or assists. But I'd be happy to take your lead on that. Okay. I do want to say is that Lampard is in the top 10 for goal-scoring midfielders of all time in football history, by the way.
Bro, Gerrard and Torres are 100% a joke. Yeah, I think I was 2 when that I was 2 years old when that happened, innit? But obviously I've watched all the highlights for it. I watched him link up with Torres. Like he was a joke of a baller, but there's probably bias creeping into it. But I think De Bruyne's better than him.
Which I think is outrageous.
Yeah, absolutely. Get Frank up at 4 then.
Yeah.
Frank Lampard at 4.
I think this is a fair 4. When you see the debate going,
again,
this is often the 4 that people.
Again, I'd have Scholes at 4, but I'd have Scholes at 4, but you know.
Compare. So I think your top 4 is.
We started fireworks here, but then logic is now taken.
Now this pressure though. This is crunch.
Scholes, De Bruyne, and Stevie G.
McDelivery?
Nice.
I'm
Nice.
in. Spicy. Medium meal.
Number 1 is it? You going
number 3.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to put Paul Scholes number 3. I am, which it makes me sad. But at the same
so
time,
this is the
We've
reverse
got to
order
close
of
up
what I
on Joe
have.
for this one. That
Joe's
was
not happy.
Okay.
Go on.
It's 11 Premier League titles, treble winner.
20.
I mean, Bebe's won more Premier League titles than Steven Gerrard, but I wouldn't.
Didn't win 11 though.
I mean,
great goal for Cape Verdeus.
Yeah, unreal. I mean, for that alone, he could be
If
in
you two are in agreement, it's not my list, it's your list. So if you're in agreement with him at 3, let's go Scholes at 3.
You're happy with Scholes at 3?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah? Okay.
11 Premier League titles, 20 major trophies.
Okay, Neve, where do you come down on the top 2? What's your opinion?
Work with me on this one, please.
Okay, yeah. So I've gone with KDB at 2.
Yes! Yes, Neve, yes.
Crazy.
Sorry. I was very
So
nervous about that.
Stevie top then, yeah.
Yeah.
Go on,
Why?
explain
Yeah,
why.
I mean, yeah, I think Kevin De Bruyne, he's come back. That 20 minutes that he's played against Newcastle, he scored a typical De Bruyne goal,
Unreal.
outside the box, pinpoint. He's got another assist. That's 103 assists now that he's got, which takes him to 8 behind Cesc Fabregas in second. But you've got to bear in mind the games. Kevin De Bruyne's played 244 Premier League games. Cesc Fabregas played 350, and Ryan Giggs with 162 assists.
Unreal.
Gerrard over
600 games.
Oh, I was going to say that De Bruyne would comfortably be the highest of all time if Giggs didn't play till he was like 87 or something.
If injuries hadn't stopped Kevin De Bruyne from playing full seasons a couple of times, he'd have smashed that record by now.
But you agree, you're both in agreement, sorry, just to confirm.
Yeah, 100%.
Bro, yeah, I don't really like putting current players in all time because it's difficult to judge. But I'd say when you're at De Bruyne's age, like there's not much. He's reached his ceiling, unfortunately. So, but like I wouldn't put Mbappe in all-time chats because anything could happen still.
Do you think by the time KDB retires, by the time he hangs up his boots at City, let's say, let's put these two up, will he have gone to number 1?
For me, it goes down to the kind of Ozil situation that I mentioned earlier, that Kevin De Bruyne is operating in the team of his Premier League era. So the players around him, who he's assisting, like everything, the manager that he's with, whereas Steven Gerrard has consistently been the captain of an...
Yeah, but he's been at the ceiling for... He's been at the ceiling for a good few years, so I'd probably say 2 more years. Like for 2 more years minimum, and he's the best. He's the best for me, personally.
Underdog team throughout his career. And if he was playing for any of these teams, if he was playing for United in the 90s and the early 2000s, if he was playing for City now, if he was playing for Chelsea, he would win the same, if not more. I think he's...
So you're going Gerrard as one because...
Yeah, I think the issue... The issue with De Bruyne is his passing won't deteriorate, but his ball carrying, and that's a big part of his game, his legs and his being able to drive with the ball. That's what makes him special for me, him being able to run with the ball, and obviously won't have that for much longer, unfortunately.
Because of that reason, the fact that he had to do more in his team, is that what you're saying? Because the players...
Not just that, the longevity of it. I think De Bruyne needs another 5 years of being at this level, which is really, it's easier said than done. He's into his 30s now.
Yeah.
Steven Gerrard was in 8 PFA Team of the Years. No one's ever got close to that in the Premier League era.
Unreal.
He was consistently...
There we go then. OK. Well, there is confirmation of Neve and Danielle's top 10 Premier League midfielders of all time. Steven Gerrard in at 9.
Well, I mean, if I'm going off of those, if I'm going off of the people that he has in that list, unfortunately, I've got to go Keane 10, Vieira 4, Vieira 9 even, Scholes 8, Silva 7, Silva 7, I'd say. Yeah, Silva's still 7. And then who else have I got? So I said, oh man, let me get a pen so I actually know what I'm chatting, bro. Because I'm getting a bit lost, bro. So let me just get a bit of paper and So I said, I'm not gonna add people to the list. I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna, because I might make my own separate video for that. But I'm just gonna use the people they've got here. So obviously Keane 10. Keane at 10. Vieira at 9. And that's obviously just off not watching them play in their prime. What can I do? Scholes 8. And unfortunately, I have to put my boy Silva at 7. Silva at 7. I put Cesc at 6. Cesc at 6. I'd probably go Kante at 5. Kante 5. 4. I go 4. I'm gonna have to go Toure, and that's not off ability, but that's just off Premier League. I've got to go Toure. And then I go Lamps, Gerrard, and De Bruyne. And that's probably my list for the people that they chose. But I'd swap out. I'd 100% swap out Keane and put Vieira 10 and Ozil at 9 for those players. Anyone got any major glaring issues with that list I just read out, or is everyone think that's a fair enough list with maybe just 1 or 2 people being switched around?
Done shut down cases. They belly dots to the can't see faces. Chasing the bad guy chase it. You don't wanna be the one like Ace and like GT trying to turn them out wasted. Aye, tell a bad bitch come break it. Body come mad, come shake it. Then get back to the basics. Bro done shut down cases. They belly dots to the